Hey everyone, Felipe here. Welcome to another Tarot Saviors card review video. In this video, I'll be taking a look at the newly announced Black Gold card Voluptuous Peony Daji. This version of Daji is going to be an Earth Elf, and I'll be taking a look at her leader skills, team skills, and active skills, and letting you know my thoughts and opinions about this completely new Black Gold card. So without further ado, let's get started with her leader skill. We have a team attack of times 10, HP and recovery of 1.8. The more races in the team, the higher the HP and recovery increase. For 2 races, you will get another additional 1.2 times increase to HP and recovery, and you'll have a maximum of a 1.4 times increase if you have 4 races in the team. Additionally, you get 3 extra seconds of runestone movement time regardless of any enemy skills, and attack bonus increases by 300% for each combo made. If you don't know, normally in Tower of Saviors, when you do one single combo, that is going to be a plus 50% attack bonus increase, but with Daji, this attack bonus will increase to 300% per combo made. Now let's take a look at her team skill, and let's take a look at how it complements her leader skill. When the leader is Voluptuous Peony Daji, we have all runestones possess 200% effect of other runestones. Runestone's movement will not be stopped when Tornado, Electrified, Shot, Laser runes are touched. Sticky and Burning are nullified. Cracked positions will be nullified. Damage will be dealt regardless of fixed combo shield. The team will not be hypnotized. And the more runestones dissolved, the higher the team attack increases to the max of times 4 for 30 runestones dissolved. Additionally, if you run Daji with only elves in your team, all elves will have a -8 cooldown reduction after entering the stage. All runes will be turned into elf runes at the beginning of each round. By dissolving elf runes, team attack increases by 3 times additionally. If your HP is full, you have a tumbler effect and you will not die to the next damage received. And damage received from scorching areas will be reduced by 99%. Additionally, if there is a Daji in the team, by dissolving 30 or more elf runes cumulatively, Daji will enter a Shen Vixen mode. During Shen Vixen mode, Daji will have an attack and recovery boost of times 2, and damage will be dealt regardless of the sense. This mode will only end when will end if you are defeated. So if you revive with diamonds, this mode will be reset and you will still have to build it up again. So what do I think about this card as a leader? Honestly, as a leader, her multipliers are really good. Team attack times 10 is going to be one of the higher multipliers in the game, which is very fitting for a black gold card. Most cards nowadays, we have a times 7, times 8 for the 1% jackpot cards, so having a times 10 attack boost is going to be pretty amazing for her kit. Additionally, as a leader, she can run any races and any attributes in the team because one, she does not have a race condition on her team attack, and furthermore, she does have an HP and recovery boost for running more races. Another reason why you can run multiple attributes is thanks to her team skill, where all runestones will possess 200% the effect of other runestones, which means that you will have attacking runes no matter what team members you are running in the team. Additionally, you get 3 extra seconds of runestone movement time, which is pretty good, and your attack bonus will increase for each combo made. And this, in my opinion, is going to be a pretty good leader skill. It does remind me of her normal Daji skill, which is the Dark Elf Supreme Reckoning Daji, except in a more power-crept version of her. Additionally, running her with only elf members will also give you a bunch of bonuses, but normally if you run Voluptuous Peony Daji as a leader, you also get a lot of counter or board counters. You are countering Tornado runes, Electrify runes, Laser runes, Sticky, Burning, Crack positions. You will ignore Fixed Combo Shield. You also ignore Hypnotized, and you also get another times 4 attack team attack increase if you dissolve 30 runes or more, not even in the Fetish patch, so this is just cumulatively. So overall, she does deal a lot of damage and can also ignore a lot of enemy skills in the game, which is going to make it easier for you to counter a lot of the endgame stages by just having her as a leader. Additionally, if you run her as a mono elf team, you get a further team attack times 3 bonus when you dissolve elf runes, which is pretty easy because her team skill just generates elf runes every round. Damage received will also not lead to your defeat, and scorching areas will be reduced by 99%, which now that Madhead will start increasing scorching areas more and more, this is going to be a nice bonus for her team skill. So overall, Daji is a pretty good leader and has a pretty good team skill that will benefit her team leader. However, in terms of gameplay mechanics and gimmicks, she is going to be a pretty honest leader. There are no special skydrop attributes, no guaranteed skydrop, no shape configurations that you can do. It is going to be mostly just normal spinning. And so for people that missed that style of play back in the beginning where you could only do single combos, stacking and all those things, this is going to be a nice throwback because this team will not have that much of a gimmick in terms of her leader skill. So in my opinion, as a leader, if you like playing that older style of TOS, of Tower of Saviors, where you just spin normally, there's no extra skydrop, there's no extra anything, this is going to be a really good leader for you. And the fact that she can ignore all these enemy skills also makes her a really valuable leader because you can use other utility cards and more damage boosting cards in your team and be able to clear later endgame content much easier. So with all the positives out of the way, let me go to the negatives here. The negatives is that she is going to be pretty honest. So one of her benefits is that she is pretty honest and she doesn't have any gimmicks. But that nowadays that is a little bit less important because there's so many gimmicks and playstyle, and I don't know, in my opinion, having a unique playstyle definitely makes a card more fun to play. So definitely having this is going to be a little bit more vanilla as a black gold card compared to other black gold cards in the game. The other disadvantage that I can see with this card is that it is a black gold card and you have to spend 200 diamonds at most in order to get her. And most people will have to spend 200 diamonds to get her since the drop rate is pretty low for a black gold card. This is if you spend 40 pulls just to get her. And therein lies one of her major weaknesses is that you have to spend so many resources and you're getting a leader that is really good, but it's not broken. And in my opinion, um, spending so many resources for a card that's just good, I personally think that it would be better for you to save the resources for a series that is also good, but a little bit more accessible for your resources and your finances. Additionally, something that I didn't touch upon is that one of her conditions for her team skill is just running her as a leader, and you don't have to run her as both leader and ally. This means that as long as someone else has Daji as an ally, you can still benefit from the times 10 team attack, recovery boost, 1.2 HP and recovery boost, the extra second movement time, and the 300% attack bonus. And you can run something else as your leader and still benefit from this insane multiplier on her leader skill. And the only thing that you are going to be missing out is going to be all these enemy skill counters, which there is always counterplay against them. You just need to bring other team members in order to counter those team skills, and chances are you will not encounter a single stage that has every single enemy skill in the game, so you can always slot in and play with other utility cards depending on the stage. And while it is an advantage that you can run her just as a leader, you can run other allies. This also means that in terms of Tower Savior's gameplay, you can use your own leader and use Daji as an ally, and that is still going to be pretty good. And in my opinion, it might be a better, more resource-friendly way to play the game, to just use one of your powerful leaders that does not require team leader and ally team skills, which nowadays Madhead has been releasing a lot of those. For example, Melody or one of the most recent 1% jackpot cards have all been only leader only team skills, so you can pair them with Black Gold Daji as an ally, and still have a pretty good team that can deal with a lot of ending content. So in my opinion, is this card worth 40 pulls? Not particularly. She is a good leader, and I will still get one of them. But overall, I don't think she has the broken properties that other Black Gold cards have. For example, Lilith. I am comparing her to Lilith, which is the previous Black Gold card. Lilith is completely broken, and in my opinion, she was a must pull. But in comparison, I do not think Daji is a must pull, and even more, I would recommend for you to skip her and spend your resources for another patch, especially with the new collaboration coming up. We still don't know what those skills are, and so it might be worth waiting for those, because this card, while it's good, it is not broken, and I feel like you will not be missing out if you decide to skip on her. But yeah, now let's take a look at her active skills. She does have dual active skills. For her first active skill, we have a CD8 skill. The enemies attack themselves and each other for 1 round, and for 1 round, damage will be dealt regardless of initial shield. And for the second active skill, we have a CD8 skill again, and for 1 round, runestones can be dissolved singly or in groups of 2 or more in the first batch, and damage will be dealt regardless of anti-runestone shield for the first batch. In my opinion, her active skills are actually very simple, and again, it does play a little bit into her design where it is a little bit more of a throwback to the original Tower of Saviors. These skills are very simple and to the point. For the first active skill, the controlling effect is actually pretty nice. It can save you or give you an extra round to deal with enemies when you activate it. However, it only applies if the enemy is controllable. If you don't have a controllable enemy, this skill will fail and you will not be able to use it. However, in the scenarios where you can use it, it will give you an extra turn to either dissolve more runestones or to avoid certain enemy skills as well. The fact that you can also ignore initial shield is going to be really beneficial for her, for your teams, because being able to ignore any type of enemy shields is going to be beneficial when you're team building and planning out how to beat a stage. So in my opinion, the controlling effect plus the ignoring initial shield is pretty nice. However, CD8 is going to be pretty long. Actually, on that note, both her skills are CD8, but I'll give her a pass on this one because she is able to equip the Elf Dragonware, which reduces cooldown by 2 when you enter the stage, so your initial cooldown will most of the time be CD6, so it's not that big of a deal that it is CD8 for now. Especially if you're running her in a mono elf team, this skill will be ready to be activated. However, running a mono elf team has some downsides where you can have access to the entire game roster instead, other than just locking yourself into elf teams. But we can cover that later. Now, talking about her second active skill, we have that we have a pretty good active skill. Again, CD8, but with the Elf Dragonware, it will become CD6. And I do think that this active skill is very worth a CD6 treatment, because being able to dissolve runestones singly or in groups of 2 means that you will always get a full board dissolve. And this is good because Madhead has started to implement a shield that requires you to dissolve every single rune in the board, and sometimes that is not possible depending on the status of your board, unless you have a converter or a fixed board converter. So being able to dissolve these all the runes singly or in groups of 2 in the first batch is a really good active skill that will also boost your damage to very insane levels, especially in a Daji team where each combo is 300% attack bonus. If you are able to do everything singly, you get 30 combos, which is going to be insane. Damage will be dealt regardless of anti-runestone shield first batch. This means that you can still dissolve all runes on the board and you will still be able to damage those enemies that have anti-runestone shield. So in my opinion, this is a very good active skill. However, is it worth pulling 40 pulls, spending 200 diamonds for just this active skill? My opinion, no, it's not. Because what you can do is just bring Ghosty, which has the same cooldown, same effect, and If you have Daji as an ally, you can still benefit from that 300% attack bonus, and you can still dissolve everything singly or in groups of 2. And depending on your leader, this might still be a really good addition to your team by having Ghosty instead of Daji. In terms of the anti-runestone shield, pretty easy, just get rid of those runes and you don't have to deal with it. I do realize that might be a little bit harder to do in practice, but it's still an option for you to remove the unwanted runes first and then activate your single dissolve. In terms of her first active skill, enemies attack themselves of each other 1 round. If you bring a Chaos Craft, you can delay enemies for 2 rounds, and there are other cards that can ignore initial shield. And just in the last patch alone, a lot of cards were already ignoring initial shield. And I would be willing to bet that initial shield is one of the most common shields that are broken in active skills. So what I'm trying to say is that a lot of cards can replace Daji in terms of initial shield breaker. The only benefit that I can see is that you actually have all this condensed into a single card, which will allow you to bring more team members into the stage without having to sacrifice that many team slots. However, again, I do think these active skills are very simple, very honest, and not necessarily worth pulling 200 diamonds for her. But yeah, the active skill is nice, but as a member, I do think she is a little bit on the weaker side and has too many replacements that you can use that will achieve the same effect that you have here. More specifically, if you have Ghosty, you don't really need the second effect because you can still run Daji as an ally and you'll still have a pretty fun time. But yeah, so overall, I do think Daji is a good card, don't get me wrong. She is a pretty good card. Her design is pretty good. It does give me throwbacks to the beginning of Tower of Saviors, where everything was very simple. Everything was you run Dark Spitter Dragon, so Fawn, with a Daji ally, and then you would be able to clear so many stages with that. So now we're getting the black gold version of Daji, and it is a little bit reminiscent of that playstyle where you can slot in a powerful leader, put Daji as an ally, and makes the stages fun to play. However, in terms of the modern meta, I do think the Black Gold card is a little bit more on the underwhelming side. Not because it's bad, but because it's not broken. Nowadays, we do expect Black Gold cards to be broken. And so this falls a little bit short on that. Personally, I do like the fact that it is more of a throwback and more simple playstyle. But in terms of people that have limited resources on this game, I do think it is better to save those for something that will be more widely used, more broken, and will give you more value, more bang for your buck, if you will, in terms of pulling for those diamonds or using those diamonds up. Again, I do think she is a very good leader. A lot of attack bonus, a lot of enemy skill counters, pretty good active skills, albeit a little bit simple, but my key takeaway is she worth 40 pulls or 200 diamonds. My opinion is no. There's a lot of cards in the game now, and they can definitely replace her. And more importantly, you can just use Daji as an ally, and you don't have to spend your own resources for that, and just use one of your Daji allies, and you can still have fun playing with her. But yeah, and you still have access to her active skills if you run her as an ally. So definitely a good, in my opinion, definitely worth skipping if you are tight on resources, and definitely save for the next collaboration or the next patch, whichever one ends up being more beneficial to your account. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say about this card. Please let me know in the comments if I said anything wrong or if I missed out on anything. And as always, stay tuned on my YouTube channel for more Tower of Saviors content. For now, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye everyone!